Hey guys, so today I have swatches of the OPI Spring Summer 2015 collection. This one is the Hawaii collection. There are 12 polishes in here. There's a mix of creams and shimmers, so this one might be a little bit long, so I'm going to get right into it. The first polish is Do You Take Lei Away, and this is a light kind of taupey nude color. So here is one coat of Do You Take Lei Away. This is a really smooth, easy to work with cream. It's not quite a one coater, but it is going to be pretty opaque in two coats, I'm assuming. The formula on this one is just amazing though. So there is one coat of Do You Take Lei Away. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is two coats of Do You Take Lei Away. So this one is completely opaque in two coats. Again, the formula is really, really smooth and easy to work with. It might be a tiny bit on the thin side, but it's not bad. I actually like this color a lot more than I thought I would in the bottle. So there is two coats of Do You Take Lei Away. The next polish is Aloha from OPI, and this is a very bright, I'm going to say orange red. It's like a coral, but I feel like it doesn't have enough pink to be a true coral, and it is very, very borderline neon. I wouldn't say that it's 100% neon, but it is very, very bright. So here is one coat of Aloha from OPI. This one has the same really smooth, really easy cream formula. It also covers really well on one coat, but I don't think it'd be able to make it an actual one coater. It's also making my camera freak out a little bit. These are the hardest colors to be able to film and photograph accurately, for me anyway. So there is one coat of Aloha from OPI. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is two coats of Aloha from OPI. So this one is completely opaque in two coats. I know this might sound really crazy, but I also feel like it's a bit brighter on the second coat than it is on the first coat. Maybe it dries down a little bit darker, or it's because the first coat is a little bit thinner, but I definitely think it brightens up even more on the second coat. So there is two coats of Aloha from OPI. The next polish is my Gecko Does Tricks, and this is a green shimmer with a gold duochrome flash. So here is one coat of my Gecko Does Tricks. You can see that this one is pretty sheer, and it also looks like it's going to be pretty brush strokey as well. The formula on this is pretty good. I think it'd be better if it wasn't sheer. It feels just as smooth and just as easy as the creams, but because it's a little more sheer, I kind of want to not like it as much as I liked the formula of the others. So there is one coat of my Gecko Does Tricks. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is two coats of my Gecko Does Tricks. This one covers pretty well on two coats. I think you could get away with two, but if you look at kind of as my finger is angled, you can see a little bit of my nail line. It is very hard to see, and you really have to look for it, but it's not 100% opaque, so I am going to come back with a third coat after this. So there is two coats of my Gecko Does Tricks. I can still see a little tiny bit of my nail line, so I'm going to come back for a third coat. So here is three coats of my Gecko Does Tricks. So that covers completely on three coats. It covers up that little bit of nail line that I could see. You can see that this one is pretty brush strokey, so you would want to either be really careful to make your brush strokes straight or to sponge on the last coat. But I do like this color a lot more than I thought I would. So there is three coats of my Gecko Does Tricks. So the next polish is Suzi Shops and Island Hops, and this is a light pink cream. So here is one coat of Suzy Shops and Island Hops. This one has that same fantastic formula that the other ones do. It might be a little bit more runny, but not by far. It's also definitely going to need a second coat. So there is one coat of Suzy Shops and Island Hops. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Suzy Shops and Island Hops. This one I'm having a little bit of trouble getting completely opaque with 2 coats. The formula is really good and it really looks like it would be opaque in 2 coats, but it's just not even. So there is 2 coats of Suzy Shops and Island Hops. You can still see through my brush strokes a little tiny bit, so I'm going to let that dry and come back for a third coat. So here is 3 coats of Suzy Shops and Island Hops. So the third coat covers that streakiness completely. So there is 3 coats of Suzy Shops and Island Hops. The next polish is Go with the Lava Flow, and this is a kind of reddish pink, or should I say pinkish red, with a pink shimmer that also flashes to gold. So here is 1 coat of Go with the Lava Flow. This covers really well on 1 coat. It's not quite a 1-coater, but it is really close. And this one also has a really amazing formula. There is 1 coat of Go with the Lava Flow. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Go with the Lava Flow. So you can see that it's completely opaque in 2 coats. It applies really, really evenly, but you could still see my nail line. So I didn't have any streaks or anything, but you could still see a little bit of my nail line through it. So there is 2 coats of Go with the Lava Flow. The next polish is just Lanai-ing Around, and this is a dusty pink color with a silver shimmer. The silver shimmer is very, very subtle in the bottle. So here is 1 coat of just Lanai-ing Around. So this one is super opaque in 1 coat. The formula is really good. It applies really even. It's not streaky, but I can see a little bit of my nail line if I look close. So there is 1 coat of just Lanai-ing Around. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of just Lanai-ing Around. So this covers completely in 2 coats. Again, the formula is really good. 2 coats doesn't change the color at all though. It doesn't like deepen it or anything. So there is 2 coats of just Lanai-ing Around. The shimmer does show up on this, but it's not super, super obvious. I mean, it was subtle in the bottle anyway, but it's even more subtle on the nail. The next polish is Hello Hawaii, and this is a dustier purple. It smells like a grayish purple cream. So here is 1 coat of Hello Hawaii. This seems to have the same formula as the other creams, really, really smooth and really easy to apply. This one also covers pretty well on the first coat. So that is 1 coat of Hello Hawaii. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Hello Hawaii. So this one covers completely on 2 coats. Again, really smooth formula, really easy to work with. So there is 2 coats of Hello Hawaii. The next polish is That's Hula-rious, and this is a kind of minty green cream. So here is 1 coat of That's Hula-rious. You can see that this one is a tad bit streaky. It's a little bit thinner for me as well as some of the other ones. Definitely going to need 2 coats at least. So there is one coat of That's Hula-rious. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of That's Hula-rious. This one does cover completely on 2 coats. Although it looks like you'll have to be really careful to make sure that your brush strokes are even and don't create any streaks, or else you will end up needing 3. So there is 2 coats of That's Hula-rious. I think this one and Suzy Shops and Island Hops so far, I think they could both be either a 2 or 3 coater depending on how you apply it. You could get some streaks and need a 3rd coat, or you might be able to get it really even. I think it's going to be different for each person depending on how they apply it, because the formulas seem very similar, but this one I was able to get away with 2, where the other one I needed 3. So like I said, I think it's going to depend on how you apply it, or even like how heavy-handed you are that day. The next polish is Mai Tai Crooked, and this is kind of a peachy orange cream. So here is 1 coat of Mai Tai Crooked. You can see that this one is pretty streaky and a little bit sheer. It does have that same smooth formula though. So there is 1 coat of Mai Tai Crooked. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Mai Tai Crooked. So this one is still a bit streaky on 2 coats. I think it has a similar formula to, I don't remember them, That's Hula-rious, and what was the other one? Suzy Shops and Island Hops, where it could be a 2-coater, it could be a 3-coater. It kind of depends on how heavy-handed you are, or, you know, the day, how you apply it. And I definitely think I'm heavy-handed this time around, because this is going to need 3 coats. So there is 2 coats of Mai Tai Crooked. Like I said, pushed a little bit hard. It's a little bit streaky, so I'm going to let that dry and come back for a 3rd coat. So here is 3 coats of Mai Tai Crooked. So 3 coats definitely covers up the streakiness. I should say kind of, because I can even still see it a little bit on 3 coats, but I am not doing 4. So there is 3 coats of Mai Tai Crooked. The next polish is Pineapples Have Peelings Too, and this is kind of a yellowy gold metallic with rainbow glitter mixed in. This is 1 coat of Pineapples Have Peelings Too. So this one covers okay. You do have to be very deliberate to place the glitter. And it can end up getting applied a little bit thick on the first coat because you are trying to place glitter and it can glop around. But usually you don't need to worry about the glitter until the 2nd coat anyway. I'm not having to fish too much to get glitter out of it, so the glitter distribution is good. So there is 1 coat of Pineapples Have Peelings Too. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a 2nd coat. So here is 2 coats of Pineapples Have Peelings Too. So the base covers completely in 2 coats, but you do have to still be a little bit deliberate to place the glitter in the right spot. I honestly think this is the ugliest nail polish that I've ever seen in my entire life. So there is 2 coats of Pineapples Have Peelings Too. When this dries, the base will dry down much smaller than the glitter, and it makes a really rough, really gross looking texture. So if you want to make them all look like the glitter in the base looks like it's all part of one polish, you will want to put a top coat over it. The next polish is called This Color's Making Waves, and this is it's a teal polish that flashes to a dark blue, and then it also has a little bit of silver shimmer and some pink shimmer mixed in. So here is 1 coat of This Color's Making Waves. So this covers pretty well on 1 coat. It is a little bit sheer. It is a little bit brush strokey as well. The shimmer really isn't showing as well on camera as it does in person. So there is 1 coat of This Color's Making Waves. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a 2nd coat. So here is 2 coats of this Colors Making Waves. So you can see this actually covers completely on 2 coats, which, as sheer as it was in the first coat, I really wasn't expecting that. This one is also very brush strokey, so you want to make sure to make your brush strokes as straight as possible, or you could try to sponge on the second coat, or the last coat. So there is 2 coats of this Colors Making Waves. And the last polish is called Lost My Bikini in Molokini, and this is a kind of grape colored cream. So here is 1 coat of Lost My Bikini in Molokini. This actually covers pretty well on 1 coat. It will definitely need 2, but it's not streaky like some of the lighter creams were in this collection. It does have that really nice, like almost buttery formula. So there is 1 coat of Lost My Bikini in Molokini. I'm going to let that dry and come back for a second coat. So here is 2 coats of Lost My Bikini in Molokini. So it's completely opaque in 2 coats, and this is just a really nice purple. I'm usually not the biggest fan of purple nail polishes, but I actually really like this one. So there is 2 coats of Lost My Bikini and Molokini. And that is the entire OPI Spring Summer collection for 2015. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you later.